5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to TrojanVision's The Week That Was, covering the news and events for the week ending Friday, October 22nd, 2021. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Well, masks are now optional for Troy University. On Monday, an updated mask policy went into effect on campus. Claudia Peppenhorst has the story.
Troy University has announced an update on its on-campus mask requirement. The university's coronavirus task force met this week and decided that teachers will have to make the decision in the coming week of whether or not they will require students to wear a mask in their classroom.
They will have to communicate with their students in their classes to let them know what their decision is, if they're going to wear a mask or if they're going to make it mask optional. No one will have the ability to completely mandate the removal of the mask. So if students want to wear the mask in a classroom, they'll be able to do that. If faculty want the students in their class to wear a mask, they'll be able to do that. But they also have the flexibility to make it optional.
Masks will continue to not be required in open air spaces on campus. The coronavirus task force also added a few locations to the list of where masks are not required on campus.
We'll continue with the current exceptions that are in place. We are not requiring to wear a mask at athletic venues, open air spaces. We're going to add to that common areas on campus, the Trojan Center, inside building, hallways, and that nature. Faculty will have to make a determination next week as to whether or not they're going to make the mask optional in their instructional space or they're going to require a mask in their instructional space.
With the decision to let teachers decide whether or not to require a mask, Tatum says the coronavirus task force felt comfortable with a more flexible mask requirement as COVID case count numbers continue to trend down on campus.
We think we've made enough positive strides that we can give a little bit of flexibility in the mask wearing on campus.
The coronavirus task force will meet again before the end of the semester, but as for now, they do not anticipate they will have to make any changes to the COVID guidelines on campus for the spring semester.
So we want to meet prior to the end of the semester just to make sure that we've covered our bases within the fall time frame, but we also need to start discussing what we'll do for the spring semester as well. I don't anticipate that we'll make any changes to the mask recommendation by the end of the fall, but again, like everything else with the pandemic, it really is a week-to-week, month-to-month type of situation.
Thursday was Troy University's annual Giving Day, a chance for the Friends of Troy University to give financially to the school. However, the giving started a little early as Troy's faculty and staff enjoyed some coffee on the quad. Belle Johnson has the details.
The Troy University Office of Alumni Affairs held their Coffee on the Quad faculty fundraiser on the main quad Wednesday morning. The event ties into Thursday's Giving Day event, where faculty, staff, and alumni are encouraged to donate money to benefit current students in many different ways.
Giving Day is tomorrow, Thursday, October the 21st. This is our 4th annual Giving Day, and we do a one-day where we ask all the Trojan Nation to come together and give to causes at Troy University that are important to them to help us help our students.
The money raised for Giving Day will be used to provide for student scholarships, academic departments, and athletics. The faculty fundraiser is a way for faculty and staff to kickstart the event by giving early.
We are kicking off the Faculty and Staff Campaign, which is an annual campaign we do every year to encourage giving from our faculty and staff. And we're doing it today in conjunction with Giving Day tomorrow. So all gifts made today will count in our Giving Day totals, and we have a goal of $200,000 to raise.
The hope for Giving Day this year is to exceed the set goal, much like what happened last year.
So tomorrow we're asking that everyone contributes to our goal of $200,000. Last year we had a goal of $175,000 and we raised $203,000. So we're looking forward to surpassing the $200,000 this year.
This year's Giving Day will run all day Thursday, October 21st, 2021.
Anyone who would like to make a gift for Giving Day can go to troy.edu/Giving Day. There is a Give Early button. We do have matching funds, and if you give early, you'll be more likely to get those matching funds. If you'd like to make a faculty and staff gift, you can go to troy.edu/faculty staff. There's a downloadable form as well as an online option to give.
Belle Johnson, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
And Troy University surpassed their $200,000 goal, raising over $225,000. Well, earlier this month, Troy's Hall School of Journalism celebrated 50 years of teaching college students. But on Thursday, the school was looking to the future, sharing knowledge with potential Trojans at the annual J-Day. Claudia Peppenhorst has that story.
Over 300 high school students came to Troy University's campus for the Hall School of Journalism and Communications J-Day, where students got the opportunity to get hands-on experience in the news business and learn more about all the different fields of journalism.
I think a lot of times students don't quite understand what journalism is. They may hear politicians talk about the media or just people talk about the media as a whole, or these students may like to take photos or may like to write stories and not understand that the things that they're doing are forms of journalism. So for them to be able to come in and learn about what journalism is and the different types of journalism there are, we hope that it gives them a glimpse into the industry and helps us build future journalists.
Students attended different workshops throughout the day. From storytelling to yearbook design, they got to experience what a career in journalism looks like. Some of the workshops were even taught by Troy University HSJC alums.
One of the interesting things about J-Day is a lot of the workshops are taught by our alumni who are working professionals. So that's a neat concept too for these students to be able to come in and not just hear from professors, but hear from people who actually went through our program and now are working as journalists or who have worked as journalists, and see that, hey, if I come to Troy, I could be doing these things too. I could be on television, my name could be in the paper, and that's something that's realistic for me if I want it.
Students even got their hand at anchoring the news and working set here in the Earl Hutto studio. They were excited to learn more about the news industry and see what all Troy's journalism program has to offer.
I'm mostly excited about being in front of the camera. I love being in front of the camera, being the one directing, and I like being the one to say what the news is. That's what I love doing.
I'm learning to get more comfortable with surrounding the news and everything. Also like to learn the school. It's one of my top picks to go to, so it's kind of a win-win for broadcast journalism and college.
Troy University's homecoming is still about a month away. However, the homecoming activities have already started with an event held this week that allows students a chance to get competitive while also saving lives. Alex Albritton has the story.
SGA annually hosts a blood drive for homecoming, but this year they kicked things off 2 weeks early. Every year it is set to be a homecoming competition where student groups compete to see who had the most members come out to give blood for bragging rights, but it is ultimately set to be a friendly gathering to help donate blood and save lives.
Today we're having our annual blood drive that we usually host around the homecoming time. It is a way for us to raise blood for the American Red Cross. The important thing is about that we have students and individuals come out here and give blood.
With the Red Cross partnering up with Troy University, Stephen Simplowski states that they collect blood for the community. And with Troy being a longtime sponsor for them, it comes in great need knowing that lots of students participate and help whenever they are needed.
Oh, it makes a huge impact to give blood. Right now we're actually on appeal, meaning that there's not enough blood to service the hospitals that we need to that we partner with, and by coming to the universities we get good healthy donors that are able to come in and donate blood, so it really helps the shortage that we go through.
Although it may not seem as much, but by donating only a pint of blood, it can save up to 3 lives. I made a difference, and so can you. You can go onto redcrossblood.org and type in your local zip code so you can find the nearest donation center so you can also make a difference.
It's a little over 2 weeks before the next Troy home football game, but that particular game has an opponent that inspires a week's worth of activities that's become a tradition at Troy, South Hate Week. Kaylee Wright gives us a look at some of what Troy Student Government Association is planning for the week.
The Student Government Association has a lot of plans for the upcoming weeks regarding South Hate Week and the Excellence in Leadership Conference. They met on Tuesday night in Trojan Center to discuss their plans for these events and make a necessary change to the Code of Laws. During their meeting, they revised Title V by adding it back into the Code of Laws. SGA President Maxwell George said that this was a much-needed change, being that Title V identifies the 5 committee groups in Troy SGA.
A while ago, that was taken out by previous executive boards and SGA senates, and this year we're adding it back so we can define exactly which committees we have here in the Senate and what their exact responsibilities and duties are supposed to be.
George added that the change is necessary for a successful and transparent Code of Laws. He also said that students should be able to reach out for information on the committees through Title V. In addition to revising the Code of Laws, the SGA also discussed plans for South Hate Week.
We have events put on for the students in relation to obviously Beat South. We're going to have a pep rally, hopefully a bonfire, a dunk tank for me and Miles, mostly Miles, so they can come dunk us. A part of that's good also that week is going to be a food drive between us and South Alabama. So I'm really fired up and excited to beat them, not only on the field that Saturday, but in giving back to our communities.
South Hate Week will start on November 1st and will last until November 6th. According to George, the Excellence in Leadership Conference is put on by Freshman Forum each year in order to develop the leadership skills of high schoolers.
I think it's really a true testament to what Troy University is about. We're leaders here. We believe in servant leadership, and we also believe in leading change.
Freshman Forum is still discussing when the conference will be held. Kaylee Wright, Troy, TrojanVision News.
We're going to take another quick break, but when we come back, students show support against domestic violence using their hands. That's coming up right after this, so stay tuned.
We all dream, but dreams quickly become distant memories unless we do something about it. Do everything in our power to learn to lead. At Troy University, we offer leadership opportunities from day one. We're dedicated to teaching a new generation to lead change. Do you have what it takes to change the world?
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Troy University's Habitat for Humanity is known for helping build houses for people in need. However, this week, the group was building up support for the fight against breast cancer using chalk. Kadarius Brown has the story.
Tuesday afternoon, Troy University's Habitat for Humanity chalked the quad pink, among many other colors, to spread awareness during Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Getting many passers-by involved, the John Lewis quad was full of color in a short time. Habitat for Humanity's president, Simone Fonby, explains more about the organization and the event.
Habitat for Humanity is a nonprofit organization that is on Troy University campus. We came out here today around 2:30, and we came out here and chalked the quad. We invited everyone.
Students filled the university's quad with an array of chalk art. While many students painted pink, some created other imagery.
A lot of people did come out and show up and show their support for breast cancer awareness.
A member of Habitat for Humanity tells me more about what chalking the quad means to her.
My experience chalking the quad, I'm gonna say it was really important to me because I actually have an aunt who is a breast cancer survivor. So like coming out and chalking the quad and asking people to write inspirational quotes really hit home for me.
Habitat for Humanity was not just chalking the quad. They were also accepting donations.
We're raising money for the Susan G. Coleman Fund, and we're gonna have various tables in the Trojan Center. So like it'll be different days, so you can come down and donate whenever you can.
Habitat for Humanity has more information on their upcoming events and how to donate to Susan G. Komen on their Instagram at Habitat, 4, Humanity _ Troy U. Kadarius Brown, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and Troy University's Trojan Outreach gave students a way to pledge their support in the fight against domestic violence by using their hands. Mackenzie Foster shows us how.
With October being Domestic Violence Awareness Month, Troy University's Trojan Outreach organization held another event Wednesday to continue to promote the importance of acknowledging domestic violence. Troy University students and staff were able to make a pledge against domestic violence by making an imprint of their hand on Trojan Outreach's "These Hands Don't Hurt" banner.
We came together for this event is because we're bringing awareness to many students, because it's 1 in 5 actually is the ratio for students that have been involved with domestic violence on college campuses. And we just think that it's an important topic to be talked about.
With the numbers of reported domestic violence increasing, the Trojan Outreach organization hopes to leave an impact on students on how to recognize and not engage in domestic violence.
A big takeaway we're hoping that students will have is to spread more awareness about how common domestic violence can be, and that it happens to everybody. It can happen to you, a family, a friend, even your dorm mate.
To keep up with Trojan Outreach's upcoming events, you can follow their Instagram page at Trojan_Outreach. Mackenzie Foster, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
This semester, Troy University's Office of Civic Engagement has introduced a new discussion series for students called the Democracy Project. Belle Johnson gives us a look at the latest installment.
Wednesday afternoon, students came together at the amphitheater for a discussion led by the Office of Civic Engagement. The topic of the discussion was mental health during the COVID-19 pandemic. Students got into groups and discussed what challenges they faced during the pandemic, how they felt dealing with those challenges, and the solutions they found to help themselves cope.
So with all of our discussions, we like to provide an opportunity for students to share ideas, different perspectives, and for this one specifically talking about mental health, it's very sensitive, it's very vulnerable for students, and seeking help can be something that they are a little hesitant about. So providing them that opportunity to share different experiences or different challenges that they were having issues with, we hope that it gave them inspiration for seeking help if they are struggling with something, or even opening up and talking with other people.
During the discussion, students were asked to seek help when dealing with their challenges. Students were also encouraged with the fact that they are not alone and everyone needs support sometimes. Individual group members shared personal stories with each other and found breakthroughs in other group members' advice.
Also hearing different perspectives on different issues or different solutions and different feelings and emotions. But we had great participation on Wednesday. We had some groups that definitely had some breakthroughs on different challenges and different issues that they were struggling with during the pandemic, and especially being college students. So we really want to thank all of those people for their participation and for coming out to our discussion.
Belle Johnson, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
Troy's Philosophy Society gave students an opportunity to hear from an Egyptology expert about an ancient biblical document that has challenged scholars since the late 1800s. Simon Schuessler has the details.
The Department of History and Philosophy, as well as the Philosophy Society, welcomed guest speaker Stephen Ward on Wednesday. Ward is a PhD student in Hebrew Bible and Egyptology at UCLA. His speech centered around an ancient document known as Amherst 63, which contains an Israelite psalm, despite being an Egyptian papyrus.
I think I was really trying to emphasize how different this culture was than we often assume. So, and then also just the fact that, you know, there's just so much out there to still study. So hopefully maybe encouraging somebody to want to dive in this area.
Although the document was discovered in the late 19th century, scholars have had a difficult time throughout the years of translating it, due to it being written in a different script than the language.
The good thing is that a lot of people have worked on it, so a lot of the signs there are identifications for. Of course, there are some signs which might have been identified, but they could have been false identifications. So there's definitely a level of difficulty in trying to work through the text and trying to separate opinions, as well as kind of figure out what's going on.
While not a typical class setting, students were encouraged to attend the lecture. Dr. Zhangbin Lim, a professor in the philosophy department here at Troy University, talks about the importance of having guest speakers for students.
Yeah, I mean, we have wonderful world-class faculty members here at Troy University, but once you have guest speakers, you will have a chance to be exposed to new worldviews and new ideas and most recent updated theories and argumentation, stuff like that, which is very important to know what's going on in our contemporary society.
Simon Schuessler, Troy, TrojanVision News.
And it's time for our last break, but when we return, we'll learn about the latest production from Troy University's Department of Theater and Dance. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Mama. Mama. Say mama. Yeah.
I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm almost 2 now and still not responding. That's one sign of a communication disorder, and delaying treatment can affect my development.
Many parents aren't aware of the early signs of speech, language, and hearing disorders, yet early detection and treatment can improve quality of life.
Say dada.
Ugh, here we go.
Identify the signs of communication disorders.
Troy University Department of Theater and Dance's latest production hit the Trojan Center stage this weekend. Medea Harold gives us a look at the show.
The Troy Theater and Dance Department is ready to debut their first play of the school year. Directed by Quentin Cockrell, Medea is set to be performed from Thursday the 21st to Wednesday the 27th in the Trojan Center Theater.
It's been a very exciting experience because we're using originally composed music, newly choreographed dance, and these ancient words to tell this story that is over 2,400 years old. So it's been very exciting. I think the audience is going to see something that they've never seen before.
Cockrell has adapted this Greek tragedy for a modern audience, including a more modern adaptation and contemporary dancing.
Was thinking about Medea because I wanted to direct it for a long time, and I thought, oh my gosh, Greek choruses used dance all the time. Why don't we take contemporary dance and try to tell this story in a different way?
The actors and dancers taking part in the production have been working together to bring this play to life. Medea, played by Ingrid Lieb, describes this show as a production of a lifetime.
It's definitely a production of a lifetime. It is something I don't think you will get many places around here, just as far as quality of art and quality of care that goes into it. So yes, please come.
Students are able to buy tickets for $5 each at the Trojan Center box office and online through their online box office. Tickets for non-students will be $10. Amelia Harrell, Troy, TrojanVision News.
The City of Troy partnered with members of the community to keep Troy beautiful last weekend. An event at Troy's Lowe's allowed locals to lend a hand to help make Troy a little greener. Maya Mitchell has the story.
Over the weekend, Keep Troy Beautiful held Troy Recycles Day, a free recycling drop-off for anyone in the community. KTB is an initiative of Mayor Jason Reeves that promotes a cleaner and healthier community.
We work to increase recycling, eradicate litter, beautify Troy. We are working on different programs for beautification as well. We've got, of course, Team Up to Clean Up we do every year, Troy Recycles Day, Recycled Art Project contest, which is in the schools. We've also got Adopt a Street.
Troy's Lowe's hosted the annual event in its parking lot, allowing Troy's residents to drive up and drop off.
We've got the shred truck on site, courtesy of Troy Bacon Trust and First Cahaba Bank. We've got electronics recycling, courtesy of Interstate Batteries and Retech Recycling. We also have our regular recycling here. We've got a lot of partners in this event. Of course, there's Lowe's, City of Troy, the Extension Office, and we've got many volunteers that help out with it.
Volunteers like Amazia Teague, the Community Service Chair and Events Coordinator for Troy University's Miss Elite Society.
We've just been going up to these cars. These people are coming to drop off all the things that they want to recycle. So basically we just come in and we get the bags and the boxes. And so bags, we're just gonna dump them in the trash can, like with the paper and everything in them. And then obviously it gets shredded. And then as far as the boxes, that gets recycled.
Sanders says events like these are important to encourage members of the community to get involved in keeping Troy beautiful.
Not only does recycling help your local economy, you know we've got the largest recycler in the world here in Troy, Alabama, KW Plastics. It also helps the environment as it keeps these things out of the landfill, keeps them from being put beside the curb. This kind of event also helps with security. It gives our citizens and homeowners a chance to shred their important documents and things instead of keeping them laying around the house or just putting them in the trash. We work really hard to keep Troy beautiful because Troy is our home and it's our job to keep it beautiful.
The Trojan Soccer team rebounded from a 4-0 loss on Friday night against South Alabama with a 2-0 win over Coastal Carolina on Sunday. Josiah Berry has the story.
The first half of the Trojan Soccer game against Coastal was a defensive showdown, but it allowed for some newer faces to become acclimated to the fast-paced game.
Yeah, I think in the first half we came out, we're steady, and we gave a couple of people some opportunity to start in their first game this season.
Coastal's defense would give way in the second half. Leading the Trojan offensive onslaught would be sophomore Jordan Stack, who put the Trojans on the board.
And Jordan Stack, the girl who scored the free kick, and we'll talk to her after, she had her first start on the season, and apparently that gave her some goal-scoring energy because she put one in for us.
The Trojans were dominant in their win today. They were clicking on all sides of the ball from offense and defense. But it wasn't their offense and defense that got them the big win today. It was a key ingredient. That key ingredient was unity.
I really just think it comes down to us supporting one another. I've been on the field but also the bench, and I will say the girls, especially on the bench, are probably the most encouraging people on the field but also off the field, and I think having them by our side during practices and on games, I think they really just give us, and Kate, she's just an amazing leader, and I think even she scored today, and I couldn't be more proud of her. She deserved this and everything, so I just really think having Kate but also our sideline are probably the two most encouraging things that keep us going, especially for next week.
The Trojans' next contest will be against the Red Wolves of Arkansas State for their senior night next Friday. Josiah Berry, Troy, TrojanVision Sports.
The Trojan volleyball team closed out a 3-game homestand, losing to in-state rival South Alabama. Alex Albritton has all the action from Trojan Arena.
The Trojan volleyball team fell short against the South Alabama Jaguars Tuesday, with the Jags having 3 straight sets. Troy was led by Tori Hester, who was the lone Trojan to see double-digit kills with 10. Amara Anderson recorded 23 assists, her second lowest total on the season. The Trojans only managed 3 blocks in the match compared to 13 by South Alabama. Lacey Jeffcoat shared the game high in digs with 11. The Trojans finished with a season-low .021 hitting percentage with 24 errors.
Thought South played really clean. They were super low error, and we just were not. Our offense was super high error. You can't win volleyball games that way.
It was an early back and forth in the first set and had 8 score ties and 6 lead changes. The Jaguars had a 6-point run, finishing off the first set with 25-14. The Trojans would have their highest hitting percentage of any set in the second set, but it wasn't enough to beat the Jaguars, with the score being 25-17. However, in the third set, Ashley Guianvera came in and helped the Trojans, bringing in 2 solid kills, but the lead was too large, setting South Alabama as the winner with 25-15.
And we know what we need to do as coaches. We got to get back to work and, learn from a tough night and, take care of practice these next couple days and be prepared for Friday.
Tonight's game against South Alabama was definitely a nail-biter. Head coach Josh Lauer says that the Trojans took a humbling loss and that they will need to have more efficiency in order to win against UALM.
We've got to get more efficient offensively and find a better offensive rhythm. We need more contributors than just 1 or 2 a night. We're a team that relies on balance, and when it's not there, it makes it difficult for us to compete. When it is there, we're really pretty tough. So, we got to find more contributors that are, can be consistent out there.
The Trojans will hit the road this weekend to square off against ULM on Friday. Alex Albritton, Troy, TrojanVision Sports.
And that's the week that was. To find out what's happening on a daily basis, you can tune into Troy TrojanVision News at 5, 6:30, and 10:30 Monday through Friday. Or you can visit us anytime on the Troy TrojanVision News blog. That's today.troy.edu/TrojanVision to see online content from Troy TrojanVision News anytime. And until next time, have a good week.